I'm not quite sure if the Fletcher is good enough. Today's video is sponsored by the Free Eagles app for War Thunder. Download the app in the video description below and use the code shown on screen to get 10 golden eagles right now. There is a very old saying in the pre-close beta of ships in War Thunder when you see a Fletcher. The balanced train has no sails. Who said that, Napalm? I just did it. So, with that in mind, let's talk about the Fletcher and where it stands and my experiences within the pre-close beta so far. There are many aspects that I like, there are many aspects that I do not like. I will not cover planes too much, except if I shoot them down with the Fletcher. And I will point out why the Fletcher is a joy to play and completely off the scale. And I do not include the battle rating discussion here, which does absolutely not matter, because I have the feeling with the current mechanics in the pre-close beta, which can change and are subject to change, the Fletcher is just really strong. So, as you can see on the minimap, I just don't join the rest of my team, which is trying to long range shoot the enemy destroyers, and they're heading out to the more open sea. I am heading for B, and while it's captured by a PT pod already, it doesn't matter. It's the ultimate goal to go into B and then straight go to A. Then you murder all the PT boats which are in your way, shoot down a few planes maybe, blow up some destroyers and murder some more PT boats, or let's call it rebalancing. Let's have a look at this. So you can see that I have a few different shell types loaded. First of all, the first one is an armor-piercing shell type. I don't want to really talk too much about it. It's an armor-piercing shell, and I aim for the frontal ammo racks on destroyers to blow them up. The second shell type is a normal HE shell, so contact fuse, everything's fine. And the third shell is the shell that really gives a few problems in terms of balancing, in my opinion at least, and that is the proximity fuse. So the way it works is that it goes near a target, and at the closest point, so to speak, it explodes, sending shrapnels everywhere. It might not be the very best shell type in a destroyer versus destroyer fight, although being still very useful. And it also has the drawback that you cannot really fire well behind certain proximity fuse covers, as I call them. What's that? What I'm talking about? Well, for example, two PT boats are trying to head-on attack me. I destroy the first one with the PT fuse. I'm sorry, with the proximity fuse. And then the rack is still there, and the shell still will explode over that rack, being practically cover for the second PT boat if it's behind it. And therefore I have the second HE shell type. Then that is, by the way, something very nice, but it is not really the problematic part. In my opinion, it is the conjunction of all the good things that the Fletcher has going with it. For example, it is very agile, it's very maneuverable, it has the various different shell types, it has a really great reload, very good firing angles on the turrets, a lot of torpedoes, fast turret rotation speed, and all that makes the Fletcher a damn bastard to fight against. And as you can see in this very battle here, I'm just murdering the PT boats left, right and center, and I'm just seeing the torpedoes and I think to myself they are not really a threat. And as you can see, PT boats have absolutely no chance. If you pay attention and if you know what you're doing, if you toggle your gunners to shoot at planes and also ships, you can use them as an early warning system. You can even shoot at PT boats that are behind islands. If you shoot over shallow parts of an island, for example. So there are cases where PT boats do not even see you and you murder them left, right and center. The only restricting factor are your ammunition and, well, then also enemies, if there are no enemies left. And look at this, I'm just blind firing through the smoke, hoping to hit some targets. I'm just needling myself between the torpedoes, destroying one PT boat already, critical another one. My front turrets are also rotating around, and I'm just running away from their torpedoes. Their guns cannot really harm me. I have 5 turrets. As I said, the Fletcher is an absolute monstrosity against PT boats and as well against other destroyers, except if you really fight multiple destroyers, if you get catched off guard, if somebody can disable your turrets and or ammo rack you. And I want to really have a good look at this scene here. There is a friendly destroyer and a PT boat has sneaked up on him. So he's on the other side of the destroyer and I'm shooting with the proximity fuses and I'm actually hitting the PT boat on the other side of the destroyer. And yeah, that is on purpose, but it's the first time that it happened. So because of friendly fire not being active, and I have just a very small section, and you can see it in the hit cam, I'm absolutely murdering this guy. I'm not quite one-shotting him, but the damage is just devastating. He has lost a lot of crew and ultimately I kill him. So you can see how devastating the Fletcher is. This is PT boat murdering at its finest. And other destroyers are just not very enjoyable. For example, the Japanese and the Italian are very, very bad in my opinion because of the lack of AP, which currently is the ammunition of choice in the anti-destroyer department, when you fight another destroyer, that is. So another kill, very balanced. I have lost count, 12 kills already, very balanced. So yeah, you know, I've played many iterations of the pre-close beta, and I think if there would ever be something like a score system that you would rely on, I would play nothing but the Fletcher to guarantee me a kill to death ratio of nearly 10. This is how devastating the Fletcher is. And you can even shoot down planes with ease if you can do it right with the aiming, because you can see sometimes the shell go wide because of one of the big problems is the waiting for the target acquisition, which is highly annoying. I try to shoot into the water to let the shells go very near. There is no manual controlling, it just corrects itself or tries to correct itself all the time. Ultimately I shoot him down because I acquired the distance in the water and manually controlled by a rule of thumb basically where the shells would go. Very complicated, unnecessary, pointless system in my opinion. Gaijin should really introduce a system for manual firing, not manual correction. That is a big difference, okay? So that we know that we can switch between sea targets and air targets. And the proximity fuse just is so skillless to play, in my opinion. I mean, look at this, they try to go around the island. I still can shoot them and hit them even behind the island. If you know how to lob the proximity fuses, it's just absolutely disgusting. And that prevented me from playing PT boats all the way, because once there was a Fletcher in the middle, it's game over. There is no point in playing PT boats. You're just gun food for them, or target practice. Really, that's what the PT boat compared to the Fletcher is. Other destroyers have significantly slower turret rotation speeds, longer reloads, don't have a proximity fuse, are less maneuverable, so they cannot dodge torpedoes. So you kind of see where this is going. And I'm not quite sure what Gaijin thought about this. Yes, it's absolutely a blast to play, but you are completely overpowered, you know. That's at least my humble opinion, sitting here with, what, 13 kills already? A plane shot down? Yeah. And this was not a very, very extreme battle. I mean, I had another battle with 16 kills, which just was absolutely demoralizing for the enemy. They tried their best. They did teamwork all the way along. It was amazing what they tried, and I was just sitting there, nope, nope, nope. Destroying them with AP shells, HE shells, proximity fuses. The ammunition count on the Fletcher is huge, much more than, for example, on the Soviet boats. When it comes to PT boats, there are also multiple issues, even in the PT versus PT fight. First of all, it makes absolutely no goddamn sense for the weaponry to be separated between, well, primary armament and secondary armament. For example, on the German S-100, I want to have the 20mm and the 30mm in the front firing together. Then the firing angles on so many PT boats are so restricted. The rotation speeds are horribly bad. You cannot really shoot at aircraft if you really try. Even if you see them coming, you are busy capturing trying to avoid destroyers, trying to shoot at other PT boats. It's just disgusting, really. And then, for example, there are bugs with the Italian. Currently, I just have non-damaging shells or very little damaging shells with the HWAP. I want to equip the API shells, but I cannot. Well, I can, but then they are not equipped. And if I just choose one shell type at all, then one of the armaments is empty. There are no shells at all. And then there is the extremely long reload for the 20mm, for the quadruple 20mm, which is absolutely heartbreaking. So I want you to have a look at the results for just a moment before we go into the other battle. I more than tripled the score points for the second one on my team and did more than 4 times as much as the best of the enemy team. It's disgusting. And I don't want to point out how good I am or how I am the best in the world, but I just wanted to tell you right away, I couldn't do something like that in any other ship. Yes, there is the Z-20, which is fun to play. Also, the tribal class is also very competitive. In a destroyer versus destroyer engagement, I think the tribal is also one of the best at all, with the 4 guns pointing forwards. Again, the Italian and Japanese are not my playstyle because they don't have AP. I cannot go for those central ammo racks on destroyers just under the front turret, which is always where I try to shoot. I figured out a long time ago how to manually aim. I think it's still garbage. The target acquisition just randomly changes at long ranges. You cannot really do it against aircraft more or less reliable, which is the reason why I do not shoot all that often at aircraft. And I, well, go straight for B, and I do not head outside to the open ocean. I think it's a waste of time. It's a waste of opportunity. You can impact so much more. You can have so much more impact on the game when going for the objectives and murdering the PT boats and just trying your best with just not going into the open and not waste ammunition in the long firefights. I think they are something for the upcoming cruisers. They are something that you should always keep in mind, and that you also should train, because it will be necessary for future maps, I guess. And you can see I do not care about his turrets, his torpedoes. I just want to get those juicy ammo rack detonations. They are efficient. The enemy does not have all that much time to shoot back, and I think it's just the best you can get. Do I really mind the lack of points in a long firefight? No, I don't really care, because I get not just one kill, I get multiple quick kills in quick succession, and just then also can more or less guarantee the win. Same here with this, I guess, Z-20. I don't care about his torpedo tubes or his guns or his propulsion system. I want the ammo rack, nothing but the ammo rack. I'm ammo rack addicted. Yeah, and it's a huge difference, for example, to compare it to tanks, where it's a valid tactic to go for the ammo rack. That's also depending on the ammunition type, which opponent that you face. But you get the drill right now. I do not really care. I also don't want to really did I just really take a torpedo to the nose? Fletcher doesn't care. Again, if you take them really to the nose, it really doesn't matter. But it's now very critical to understand that the Fletcher also can survive a lot of stuff. Here I get just bombed in a minute. I shoot down the attacking aircraft and I'm still fine. There is another torpedo coming in. I can barely dodge them. You can see 300 seconds repair time. That's 5 minutes. 5 minutes where I'm just, you know, trying to seal the leak and pump the water out. I'm down to 77% floating capacity. Don't know what you want to call it. And I still can murder all the PT boats. That was just a critical hit. That's not good enough. Leading a bit more. Not quite good enough. Yeah, but now there is the bomb. There is the bombing. You can hear the whistling. There are some more torpedoes from the PT boats. And I get critted very, very hard. But I do not care. So I murder one PT boat. There is another one. They desperately try to get rid of me because I'm still occupying or shooting in their spawn. And now you can see how the proximity fuses are detonating prematurely. So I switch to normal HE and murder them anyway. And there are still some torpedoes being launched. And still I try to really, really wreck them hard. So, and the wreck of the PT boat actually went in front of its own torpedo and practically saved me here, which is also really, really awesome for me, I guess. So now I have like 10 minutes of repair time. I'm firing blindly into the smoke. I see another plane incoming, I guess. Now there is still the target acquisition problem that I really now run into it. I want to third person shoot and I fire anyway because proximity fuses. I just have no words how destructive the Fletcher is and how relentless it is in this respect. Another few good hits into it, just shooting somewhere, switching between the shell types. This is what you really have to train with the Fletcher. And then there is the the balance ship has no sails. You know what I'm actually referring to. They're pushing towards A. In just around about a moment we can see that. Yes, I want to also keep them away from that because it's our cap. My cap, you know. And the voyage, I guess it's called, around the capture zones, they're actually also kind of activating the proximity fuse, which is somewhat a balancing factor, I guess. Not for this guy though. So it's really, really challenging to not get a good result in the Fletcher once you try to get inwards. So this guy still has spawn protection. There's a second guy coming in. I try to kill him. Now I got him. So the boys that mark the capture zone are a limiting factor. Although if you lob the shell somewhat in there, you can prevent it. Now there are torpedoes incoming. I try to reverse, but I have nearly no engine power. I try to get an additional kill here with the S100, get it, and I have absolutely no idea how many kills I now got. That torpedo I cannot take exactly to the nose, and it goes into the ammo rack or near the ammo rack, and I blow up. So 14 kills and 1 aircraft destroyed. that actually tells you everything that there is to know about the Fletcher. And that was, I guess, the game afterwards. Really, the Fletcher is so much over the top. I have absolutely no words. I think it has completely spoiled me at this point. I cannot play any other DD and not think about it in comparison to the Fletcher. Long range shooting, the manual adjustment, it's in my opinion pointless. Most of the time I just begin to shoot when something is closing in on me, be it a PT boat with the proximity fuse, a destroyer that's bow on where I can really nicely shoot into the ammo racks. At long range I don't want to give away my presence, which is another thing because of the removal of the markers for now 2 weeks, I guess. It's okay, but if you really want to, you know, mark targets, like for example aircraft, it's a downside, I guess. But I still want to give you the rest of this battle, which at this point still will take 6 minutes up until the end of the video. So, when it comes to ships, what changes do I want to see? So, summarize everything up. First of all, I'm okay with the current aiming system to stay if there is an option for manual shooting, like on, for example, AAAs in War Thunder in third person aim, because that would make so many things so much easier. Shooting at planes, shooting at other patrol boats when you are in a patrol boat yourself, and just having very good brawling abilities, especially in close quarters, around capture zones, around islands and so on, because that is a key aspect that I do not understand, why they do not give us the option. I've looked through the, well, options, and either I missed something or it's still not there. So here you can see that the proximity fuses are still exploding over the boundaries of the capture zones. So I have to switch to normal HE and try to hit this patrol boat, which is very near one of our destroyers. I try to get the shots in, but I horribly fail. Sorry about this. There you can see then the difference for having no proximity fuses on the Fletcher. I'm getting close. It's not the shortest distance. Again, still something like 3 kilometers. But I'm getting closer with the shots. That's very short. Then it gets very long again. Maybe at some point you get a hit in if you lead enough. And yeah, that's the inevitable hit. It reduces the combat capability of the boat. It tries to smoke up, but he's far ahead of his smoke. And if there wouldn't be always this tempting island to shoot, I might get the kill shot in anytime soon. Come on, come on. Yeah, you can see I'm really annoyed with the mouse movement. That's getting pretty close. And there we go, finally. Another nice kill there. There is another PT boat. I tried to switch over to the proximity fuse, I guess, anytime soon. I wanted to, but I get hit from the side, and a destroyer did the right thing. He didn't fire up until the point that he had a good firing angle on me, I guess, or ranged the shots in perfectly to not alert me because I was busy with the patrol boats. Now I'm switching over to AP. I always try to get for the frontal ammo rack under the turrets, as I mentioned a few times right now. And come on, come on, come on. Yeah, I rather go for the shots and even risk them going into the water for having also a good chance getting that ammo rack. And that was another kill against a Z20. So he had the jump on me. He scored the first hits. He reduced my guns to 4 instead of 5. I'm still repairing. He did damage to me and it didn't matter because I blew up his ammo rack. So 16 kills and 1 plane shot down. I think for one death, you could say I got around about a 8.5 kill to death ratio. In this battle, not as good as in the other battle where I just simply didn't die at all. So, and here you can see, I see the plane incoming, I switch to the proximity fuses, but I cannot get the shots right and they're landing somewhere because I cannot acquire the target fast enough. And there is another PT boat which I just see because of the torpedoes, and the thing that I want to show is I want to take the torpedo to the nose and just want to finish him off with the proximity fuse. The leak is going on, but he cannot sink me fast enough. Now the thing is I have no control over the, well, close quarters firing at the moment because it seems the system is way too slow switching between a destroyer fight to an aircraft fight to a PT boat fight at various different distances, which is highly annoying in my opinion. And this is where I want direct control over my guns. For example, with a fixed distance like on, for example, bomber, waist gunners, something like that. I'd be okay with that. So, and that ended the match. Still 16 kills in one plane, 2 capture zones and 3 kill assists. I think that's quite something. So that's it for me today. I hope you understood the message in this battle. The Fletcher is an absolute monstrosity. Its abilities are unmatched currently. It's the master of everything and challenged by nothing. And as you can tell by the music right now, this is it for me today. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Let me know in the comment section what you think about the shown footage and your experiences in the pre-closed beta if you have access to, and if you want to have access to it, or if you think, nah, it doesn't look like it. Let me know. Anyways, please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves of War Thunder.